presented by PrizePicks. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 using the promo code LIGHTYEARS. Welcome to Light Years. Quick programming note, no Sam tonight, so it's just going to be me and Andy holding it down for you. The Warriors get a rollicking wire-to-wire victory over the Philadelphia 76ers, 139-105. Honestly, the best they've looked in probably about a month. And my one takeaway from the game is, how miserable is it to watch Joel Embiid play basketball?
Dude,
we'll get into it later. Let's start with the positives here.
Start off on a rant. Yeah, let's go with the good stuff first.
Let's start with the positives here. What it really comes down to sometimes, and Sam tweeted this out, I believe, yesterday or today, the Warriors shot awful for all of December. Sometimes it's really as simple as it just being a make-or-miss league. 22 of 39 from three tonight. Steph obviously went 8 for 8. I think it's the best. It's the most threes he's ever made in the game without missing one. But everybody basically shot the ball well tonight, So we can do all this analyzation and we can, overanalyze things, I think, a lot of the time. But sometimes it's really as simple as making or missing shots. And tonight they made everything they looked at.
I think it confidence matters so much when you're a role player. And the Warriors have a team full of role players, except for Steph. And I do think when you start off a game this hot, 35-19 in the first quarter, I barely had the TV on and they're already up 10 points. Yep. I think it helps a team like the Warriors. If you're the Celtics or you're the Thunder and you start off a game shooting 12% from the field for 10 minutes, it doesn't matter. You're going to get back in. I don't think the Warriors, a team full of these role players, Lindy Waters shot the ball well tonight. Like, he's like, if this game's not going well, he's probably not playing well. He's a role player, right? I don't mean to pick on him, but I think games like this, everybody's playing well off the bat. They're playing against a team. My goodness, the Sixers look old and slow. God, they look old. But the Warriors took advantage, and that's I think what was really cool to see tonight. And it snowballed. That's why they shot. My God, how many threes did they make? What was it?
22 of 39.
22, over 50% from three. So, man, I think stuff matters more to the Warriors than anybody else. And then when they are hot and can't shoot, they do have a lot of guys that can make shots.
No, absolutely. And, I think the guy who really kickstarted it off tonight was Schröder. It was nice to see him finally make some shots, and he was efficient tonight, 5 of 9 from the field, 3 of 4 from three, but he made 2, I want to say, in the first couple minutes of the game. And then, like you said, it just snowballed from there. But, I think it's obviously big for Dennis to get going a little bit here. They obviously, they moved Melton, so it's not like they really lost anything in the trade because Melton was already out for the season. But at the same time, you're making this trade with, he started, I think, almost every game since he's been with the team. So he needs to play well for them to be good and for them to kind of be able to right the ship a little bit while we probably wait for another move that comes in February. So it was good to see him play well. And what have your thoughts been on him overall so far? Obviously, he hasn't been shooting the ball well, but do you see a world where if he, starts to be a little bit more efficient offensively, where he is helpful like this consistently, or what's kind of been your outlook so far?
Yeah, I what's funny is I want to hear your take on it. But tonight was the best game he's played in a Warriors uniform. This is the Schröder that I expected. It's not like he went for 25 points, etc. Like, he shot well from the field. He didn't turn the ball over and had a couple assists, 6 assists, and he just ran the offense. To me, like, the biggest thing was when Steph is off the floor, like, he's able to do things that just get him a couple buckets, get to the rim, draw a foul, make a couple free throws, and he did those things when Steph was off the floor, which made it so that, hey, this 24-point lead, which we got when Steph was on the floor in the third quarter, like, he's not going to go down to 16, right, when Steph is off for 2 minutes, and that's what we see a lot. With Schröder on the floor, is like, let's keep it at like 19, right? And going into the fourth quarter, we got some decent momentum. I think that's important. This is the best game that he's played. To me, it's like, you could argue on one hand, it's, maybe he needs better players around him. He needs more shooters around him. I've seen that, true. But we've also watched Schröder, like, he just shoot better, man. He missed a bunch of open shots. So he made shots tonight. Like you said, it's make or miss. Like, he's been missing a bunch of open shots. So he did that tonight, and his blow by was, he got by a lot more people today than I think normally, which I don't know why he's had trouble doing that, but part of this is just confidence. Like, he just played better. I hope he's on the team through the trade deadline. I've seen him in some action stuff, but I like him. I like the way he plays.
No, I'm 100% with you, and he just brings an element that the roster didn't have before he got here. Even really with Melton, like Melton's a different type of player, and I think overall, like in a vacuum, Melton is probably a little bit more
Better.
helpful. Yeah, better, like more kind of like championship equity, if you want
Yep.
to use that term in
Yep.
terms of like
Mm,
deep playoff run. But at the same time, Dennis can dribble the basketball and he can go by somebody and he can pass. And like the roster was so limited with that before this trade. You know, it was really, and even like just to start a game with another guy on the floor who can handle the ball with Steph. So Steph doesn't have to feel that pressure of, coming out and having to do everything immediately. And that wears on you, especially for a
yeah.
guy who's 36 years old at this point. Like he's just not going to have it every night. Obviously, Steph was spectacular tonight. That was a vintage performance. We'll get into that later.
Yep.
But just having another guy that can take some of that ball handling and like creation load off of him, I think mentally that's so helpful for Steph. And if Schroeder can continue to be this efficient, it's obviously it kind of changes. It does make them a championship contender, but I think it does make I think it would be something that makes the front office a little bit more willing to make a move as we get closer to the deadline, because you're not 4 games below 500, you're 3, 4, 5 games above 500. And that's why this next stretch of the season is so important, because if they don't right the ship, it's going to look like probably they want to sell parts and maybe get under the tax. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Let's. Yeah. Yeah.
this next month, it's so essential for the season. We always knew December was going to be tough. That was a brutal schedule in December, and I think the team played about as badly as they could. Like I said, so Sam tweeted this out the other day. Here's just the shooting stats from the season so far, month by month splits, right? And for the people that aren't watching on YouTube, I'll read them off for you. So in October, Warriors shot 48% from the field, 39% from three. November, 45% from the field, 37% from three. December, 42% from the field and 33% from three. And they're playing better teams. So you're playing teams who are more connected defensively. They do a better job of limiting good opportunities. But at the same time, they also missed a lot of easy looks. And we all know that December is always Steph's first month. And the team goes as Steph goes in a way. But hopefully this is the start of a good stretch of basketball, because the schedule does lighten up a little bit. It's never as easy as it was early in the season, I don't think. But at the same time, just it was nice to see some shots go in, and hopefully this vaults them to a more serious and fun brand of basketball.
Yeah. More serious brand of basketball. I think when Steph, like, regardless if Steph is on or off the floor, they really need at least one extra shot creation guy.
Yeah.
And they got two tonight, right? They got Dennis Schroeder tonight and Kuminga, who I thought was another guy that played really well. But I do think, end of the day, you talk about trade deadline. I think we're going to get some trade stuff way later, but it the shooting, the jump shooting stuff is interesting with this team, because regardless of how they shoot, it actually doesn't determine to me who they should get. I actually don't think the process matters, regardless of whether they shoot it great or not. They just need to. They still need someone. Um, if they want to be taken as a serious team, and even if they get someone, maybe they still aren't that great. But
Mhm.
to me, that's where it never made sense. I question where the front office is saying, all right, we'll see what they look like before we make a move. It's like, no, you guys need to make a move, and you guys needed to make a move 2 months ago, 3 months
Yep.
ago, 2 years ago. It doesn't, what we're watching from now until the trade deadline, honestly, it doesn't matter, bro. Like, do they need Jimmy Butler? Regardless of what happens in the next month, they need Jimmy Butler. Like, it's just, it's not, it's just, look, I'm a reductive, I have a lot of reductive analysis, but it just truly is that simple. Did they play better here? You might not trade that. That just
Yeah.
doesn't matter, bro. You need him.
Yeah.
You
And,
need
and,
him.
and
Go get him or don't.
I think the most frustrating part is like this hasn't been a 2 month problem. This has been a multiple year problem, and like the inaction
Sure.
is what is annoying. But I think just to go back on the Kuminga thing for a bit, I think this is probably the past couple weeks. This is the best stretch of his young career. I want
Yeah,
to
that's
say
good
coming in.
Kuminga. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think coming into tonight, last 5 games, he had been averaging like 25 points and 8 rebounds over his last 5 games, and he was spectacular again tonight. 20 points tonight, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 8-11 from the field, and I think, and this is the thing that I've been the biggest on with him so far this year is the scoring's always been there. I don't think anybody's ever had concerns of whether he can score and eventually hopefully score more efficiently than it has been. But like the real growth to me has come in the other parts of his game. And I think we saw that tonight with his passing. He had 4 assists in the first maybe 12, 16 minutes of the game. And we talked about this offline a little bit. I think he's just processing the game better overall on both ends of the floor. Like he's seeing more of those Warriors-y passes and he's making better reads defensively. And that is like been the most encouraging thing about his season to me. And with the way he's played lately, I am more open to not trading him, much more so than I was maybe even a month ago or a month or two ago. And I think the best thing they can potentially do is try to find somebody that fits with him, for lack of a better term. Like that's what I think. That's why I've always been like kind of stuck on Cam Johnson since it became a thing. Because like if you can get Cam and keep Kuminga, I think you become a lot more lethal, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I thought he was spectacular tonight. Like he's obviously had some higher scoring games recently, but in a lot of ways, I was almost more impressed with what he did tonight than the games where he was scoring 30 something.
By far, but not even close. I hate to be that guy, but those games scoring 30-some points, especially in losses, it's not that they don't mean much to me, but it's just like that Clippers game. Like, what are we doing here? This game tonight was by far his best game. Because what are winning qualities in a basketball player, right? It's can he play defense? Can he make the right IQ passes? Like to me, it's like, can he shoot? It's like, I think we're always going to get that same version of Kuminga where he'll make a couple of set shot threes. He did tonight. He'll get to the rim. Sometimes he'll make the contested midi, probably not going to make the competitive. But that to me is like, okay, you get what you get with Kuminga there, but he's so freaking athletic and he can put so much pressure on a team that if he can make the right passes, again, which he did tonight, it unlocks a whole different type of stuff for this team where now all of a sudden he can get Steph the ball. He can get other people the ball, and he can be a threat there instead of saying, I'm just going to drive to the hole. And then defensively, he's a lot better when I think they just don't have him guard like a guard out on the perimeter, or they don't have him guard like just an ISO situation. Like leave that job up to Andrew Wiggins and have Kuminga guard the third, fourth best guy. I think it comes down to this too, and I think Draymond pointed out the other day. He said, look, man, I don't want to play the 5. But if I'm going to have to, I'll play the 5. And unshockingly, that unlocks Kuminga as this. Like, I think the same thing happened last season. Anytime that Kuminga plays the 4 next to Draymond and it's not clogged up, things are great. And to your point, the Warriors need to decide, look, man, are you going to help Kuminga then? Are you going to give him I almost said Sasha Vujacic. Oh my God. Are you going to give him Vucevic, right? As a big, maybe he can play next to? Are you going to give him Cam Johnson, to your point? Maybe a wing that he can play next to? God, that'd be great. Or are you just going to keep having him like play next to a Draymond Draymond's going to get hurt at some point playing the 5. And he's going to get worn down. So it's working right now. But if the argument is that, hey, we need to keep Kuminga, then go make it easier for him. Right? You don't you can't have him play the 3 next to 2 guys that can't shoot. Like you're just asking. It's like playing Steph next to like 3 other guards. It's like, well, now Steph is guarding. That's not what you want. You want Steph to be your primary. So anyway, I think that here, Kuminga's best game of the season. I think by far that was really impressive.
Yeah, and he looked so composed tonight. It didn't look like he was ever in a rush. And like, he'll drive into the lane sometimes and he'll just like lose the ball, and like there was none of that tonight. There was just it seemed like the game is like slowing down for him. And that's a very cliche thing to say, but it feels like that's happening for him. And I want to speak on Trace a little bit too. Like Trace wasn't great tonight, but I think he's been better overall lately. Like he's I think showing a little bit more promise than he had. He still has issues around the rim, just like missing bunnies, but just they're going to play Draymond at the 5. I think that's kind of clear to everybody. But Trace being playable and actually being kind of more of a threat than Loon is around the rim is very helpful, just for keeping some wear and tear off of Dre. And the thing that, just to bounce back to Cam Johnson real quick, the thing that I love about a trade like that is I actually think it helps you play some bigger lineups because he can play kind of that small ball 4 role, and maybe that helps unlock a slow-mo a little bit more. Maybe you can get away with some more Looney lineups. You know what I mean? Yeah. But okay, I would assume one of Slow-Mo or Looney stays, right? So like it unlocks a little bit more. You're a little bit more lineup flexible at that point. But yeah, I would. I
would love Cam. That would be by the way, someone in the comments said Kuminga playing like Aaron Gordon, more less so like Julius Randle. I like that. But by the way, I think that's one thing that maybe like I haven't brought up, and it's not been brought up as like this is the best path for Kuminga to play. It's hard for him to play this way when he's playing for a $200 million contract. Like that's at least I think that's what he thinks. He's like, man, for me to get that contract, I need to average 25 points a game. And it's like, I'm kind of sitting here. It's like, I don't actually think that's true. You know what I mean? Because like, who's the team that can pay Kuminga or is going to be under the most pressure to pay Kuminga? It's the Warriors. So if he's going to play this style, which I would say is like a true winning style of basketball, defending, cutting, and passing the ball, making the right play, that's more important to the Warriors than say, hey, I'm going to go out there and average an inefficient 28 or 25, which is what, you know, guys like Julius Randle and young Aaron Gordon and Jeremy Grant, all these guys that he gets compared to is like, I think you could still get paid. But again, I sometimes you just go out there and you just know that Kuminga's like stressed out. And you just kind of like,
and that's totally reasonable. That's totally reasonable. Like he's a young dude who wants to get paid. That's human nature. You know what I mean? But like I think that's a good point though, because like the Magic didn't give Franz a max contract because he's scoring 22 a game. Like he obviously can score the basketball, but it's the other stuff outside of the scoring that like gets him that max deal, right? Like obviously the scoring is great and you're not getting the money without that, but the fact that he's so well-rounded is what makes them super willing to give him a max deal before, you know, he even goes to restricted free agency. So I think it's tough though. It's tough to look at that as a 22-year-old when you want to be Kobe,
right?
Like, you know, when every 22-year-old wants to be Kobe, especially a guy like Kuminga, who we know idolized Kobe. So yeah, I think that's a really good point of the best way for him to actually earn that contract from the Warriors specifically is to do the other things. It's not just to do the scoring part. But I think we got to get some ad reads. You want to tell the people about PrizePicks?
Yeah, let's do it. Listen, Light Years Podcast, we are brought to you by, if you don't know, you know, you already know. PrizePicks, run your game all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings. PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 100x, 1000x your cash. It's NFL playoff time, and it's now or never. Don't miss out on the last week of football action with PrizePicks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When my picks hit, I can get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So download the app today. Use code LIGHTYEARS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game.
All right, and now I think probably my favorite sponsor. We got Manscaped. So the holidays might be over, but that doesn't mean it's time to stop taking care of how you look. I hope some of you finally did win that Best Groom at Family Dinner award, though, thanks to the latest masterpiece from Manscaped, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver. Trust me, it's like Rudolph for your face, guiding you to a smooth, irritation-free shave. Head over to manscaped.com and join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by using the code LIGHTYEARS for 20% off plus free shipping. All right, let's dive into the Chairman Pro itself a little bit. So it's armed with not only one, but two interchangeable skin-safe blades. Think of them as your grooming superheroes. The skin-safe 4-blade foil for when you want that baby bottom smooth shave, and the skin-safe stubble trimmer for when you want to keep some stubble but clean it up a bit. Both keep you looking sharp while minimizing razor burn and irritation, because nobody wants to show up to that holiday party looking like you lost a fight with a Christmas tree. The Chairman Pro isn't just for daily shaves either. It's powerful enough to tackle up to 5 days growth, making it perfect whether you're shaving every day or just tidying up after a few days. So get the Chairman Pro today and experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. Get 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code LIGHTYEARS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code LIGHTYEARS at manscaped.com. All right. Touched on it a little bit earlier. That was a vintage Steph Curry performance tonight. And, you know, there's been, I think, some talk about like, oh, like, is he regressing? You know, all the things that we see on Twitter on the daily. And my opinion on it has been that I've used the term quiet quitting. And what I mean by that is like, he's never been that guy to do that. But I do think there's an element of he's realizing his age and his basketball mortality in a way. And he's not going to go out there and kill himself for a 500 team. So I think there's like a little bit of LeBron to it. Like he's never going to do the full, like he's never going to like tweet about it or like do the go full LeBron mode. But I do think there's an element of that to it. But he was phenomenal tonight. And the reason why I haven't generally been worried about him is because he's still generally getting the same looks from the field, especially from three. Now, I think he struggled with his rim finishing a little bit, and that's just a natural thing as you age. But he's still getting very quality looks from three. He took 8 threes tonight, made all 8, And I do think there's more performances like this in the tank if they can just get a little bit more around him to make his job easier. And I think that's where we saw the impact of Schröder tonight. But, what are your thoughts on that? Because I'm sure you have, you're the preeminent Steph stan. What are your thoughts on the regression?
I got a few people text me the same thing. They're texting me about like, yo, Steph looks kind of washed. Steph looks this. And I was like, I don't know, man. It kind of looks like the same Steph. Sometimes shots go in, sometimes shots don't. Sometimes in December, I don't go in more often than not. Team fucking sucks around them. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. That was my thing. I was like, dude, are you watching these games, man? They garbage. I don't know. I can't. Look, man. Do we want him to shoot more in the beginning of games? As I always say, absolutely, Steph. Stop running around and doing cardio for the entire first quarter. Now you're out of rhythm. But we know that's who he is. So when he runs around and does cardio and the rest of the team is awful and they can't even get into the paint without getting the ball smacked out of their hands. That's how bad this team was, not tonight, but was in December. Things are difficult. So, I was never worried. My worry was more like, it sounds like Slater reported that he's got knee tendonitis. So that was my worry. I was like, dude, that's tough because I've had calf tendonitis. I've had all types of injuries, and I'm not Steph, but I'm 30. How old am I? I'm 33, and he's gonna be 37. So it's like, I honestly, like, he doesn't actually look like he's hurt in terms of like he's moving around fine. But I'd attribute to him missing a few more games and sometimes just being more lethargic to knee tendon. Like, he just doesn't want to come out here and run fucking pick and roll for 4 quarters. I can't blame the guy. He wants Jimmy Butler next to him and do the goddamn thing for 20 minutes. So it's like, that was always my thing. It's disingenuous to say like, he's just not the same guy because dude, you know who's else not the same guy? LeBron James is not the same guy. And it doesn't matter because he's got AD next to him, right? To be the elite two-way guy. And same thing with KD. KD, ironically enough, KD's actually the guy that can't stay on the court. That's the Suns' problem. And so he just needs more help. It all comes back down to that. Just get him more guys that makes life easier for him. And if you think it's his fault, then trade him. and let's just keep it moving then. And because like this whole thing where it's like, oh, should we? He doesn't look as good. His finishing not as good. Go help him. What the fuck are we doing? Go help him, or go help him, or trade him. Go send him to Charlotte.
No, I mean you're 100% correct, and I think the biggest thing is, so we had Jason Tim from Hoops Tonight on the show a couple of days. I think we dropped the episode yesterday, but we had him on just before the new year. Sam and I recorded with him, and I he made a really good point, and I've thought about this too. Look up and down the rosters over throughout the league. How many teams really don't have a second option like the Warriors? You're talking about true bottom feeders tanking teams, right? Just look up and down the top 10 teams in the West. Their second guy is a guy who can go get 20 every single night, and he can go do it on his own. He doesn't need somebody else to create those 20 for him, right? And so of course he hasn't looked great, and of course there's going to be, I guess, trolling or concern trolling about it when he doesn't look great. But at the same time, I really don't think there's very, very few guys who are working with this specific set of circumstances. So if you just put a little bit more around him, like I said, I think there's more of these performances in the tank than he's currently showing. It seemed like he was locked in tonight. And like you said, the knee tendonitis probably doesn't help. And so as of right now, I want to say he's what, 3rd or 4th in terms of guard voting for All-Star game. And he'll end up by the
way, I know Sam. I wish Sam was on tonight, and he was pissed off about that one. Look, it's good that he's 3rd right now because people are going to look at it and freak the fuck out. Those aren't final votes. No. Be shocked if he was 3rd by the time the thing ended. So I wish Sam was here, but he was going crazy about it. But it's like,
I mean,
you know what really pisses me off is people that say like they're Warriors fans and say like, "Well, he should play better." It's like, bro, get the... oh, man, that pisses
look,
me off.
the Warriors would not be hosting the All-Star game in the Chase Center if it wasn't for Steph Curry. So by that alone,
Oh, without a doubt.
he deserves to be in the All-Star game. But like, part of me, when I saw the votes come out, and he'll be there, so like, it's not something I'm concerned about. Part of me was like, it'd be kind of cool if he just got a week and a half off. It'd be kind of cool.
Well, to be fair, I think he might. I think he might have. He just do anything. Well, I guess he'll do the 3-point shooting contest regardless, right? Sure. So he'll be out there. But it's I don't know how the All-Star game is, man. Me and you could score 4 minutes in that game. Actually, you might be. You're a lot better than I am. Yeah, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing here?
No, seriously though, I was like, maybe it's just best if he doesn't play in the game. But yeah, I can't until I see him not be like great in a big moment that matters, then I'll have the hope forever that guy's still in there, right? But yeah, I mean, it's not something I'm going to be concerned about until they're a more serious team. So let's bounce around a little bit here and talk about, I guess, how the Sixers looked tonight. Paul George. Obviously, rumored over the summer that there was a chance, and they got pretty close to the finish line on getting the Paul George deal done. He doesn't come to Golden State. He ends up in Philadelphia. He kind of looked washed. I thought he was pretty good tonight, and like, obviously, I wouldn't be mad if he was on the team, but at a price of $212 million over 4 years, I wouldn't be super excited about it either. Are you happy, sad, Matt? What is your emotion at not having Paul George on the Warriors from what we've seen so far this year?
I'm not gonna act like I'm the preeminent Sixers fan here. I have watched some games just because I want to see how Tyrese Maxey is doing, and some of those games when Jarrett McCain was playing well.
He was cooking.
And golly, he's hurt now, but I wouldn't be mad if Paul George was on the Warriors right now. It'd be immediately one of the worst contracts in the NBA. That's a disgusting contract.
It's bad.
I don't give a fuck, right? Because it's what does it matter if they got Jimmy Butler and they $48 million and then they would extend him for 2 seasons? Disgusting contract.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care, because there's only this year and 2 more years for this team to try to win a championship. Paul George gets him closer. Larry Markkinen gets him closer. Jimmy Butler gets him closer. Make the damn trade. Go do it. And they were going to. They tried to. They wanted to. Now, if you ask me how Paul George looked, I was not impressed. I mean, did he even step foot in the paint one time tonight? No. And I know that's not the type of player he's now, and he is an awesome, awesome shooter. But I don't know. I didn't see much difference between him and like Andrew Wiggins. He's a much better shooter. Paul George is much better handle and all that stuff. But Wiggins is more active and he's a better defender at this point in their career. So look, I'd rather have Paul George than Andrew Wiggins, of course. But I'm just saying, like, watching tonight's game, just not impressed with Paul George. But at the end of the day, it's like, you're not going to tell me. Like, do I want to give away Wiggins, Kuminga, pick, bunch of salary, your entire bench for Jimmy Butler? Like, I could see why that doesn't make sense. But I make the fucking trade. Right. So it's that type of like, yeah, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say Paul George looks amazing. He doesn't, but he makes his team better. Right. Yeah. So that's where I'm like, look, he's like not all the way washed, but yeah, man, Paul George, that Philly team, they're cooked. Like they are. That is an old team, a slow team. They don't play together well. And that's a lot of bad contracts on one team. And good luck. Good luck, Daryl Morey. Good luck. Good luck, Nick Nurse.
Yeah, I mean, I think if Philly wanted to pivot, because they might, Daryl's not afraid to kind of move fast and break things, right? So if they wanted to pivot at the deadline and PG became available, I don't know how into it I would be at this point, especially no, seriously, like especially if it's going to require. I mean, it's going to require what, $50 million worth of salary. So
now back then with the what it was in the offseason, it was a little bit easier, right? Would you rather have Paul George, Jimmy Butler?
Oh man, I think I side with Jimmy just because I think Jimmy's proven it more on the biggest stage. I mean, I think that's very clear to everybody, and I think a pissed off out for like revenge Jimmy Butler like with Steph and with Draymond would be an incredibly fun thing to watch. It wouldn't guarantee winning a championship by any means, but I think that's more fun than like getting Paul George, who like, yeah, he's going to get 20 and it looks cool, but it's just like a lot of nights. It's like, dude, you're just kind of like out there floating, you know, like, are you doing anything really meaningful? And the funny thing is in his prime, he was actually exactly that type of guy. Like obviously he could score, but was an incredible defender, impacted the game in like a multitude of ways, but he's just older now. And that type of energy and athleticism and like pop is mostly gone from his game. Like you said, I don't think he got any paint on his shoes tonight, like at all. It was pretty nasty. He was just like kind of coasting and shooting jump shots. And obviously the game was out of hand early, so that probably plays a part in it. But yeah, I think it's Jimmy and it's not even close.
Yeah, I agree. Man, and Jimmy still got way more juice in his game when he turns it on. I actually genuinely question how much juice Paul George has in his game, but and a day more juice than what I've seen from the Warriors so far this season. But good blowout.
What about Embiid? What if Embiid became available?
Oh,
do you enjoy the free throw parade? That was so nasty in the third quarter. It was awful to watch.
You know, everybody's got their own. This is why NBA ratings are down. I gotta admit, free throws. It's not the main reason, but the flopping, the NBA reffing. I think it's a what do they say? It's a symptom of the
like
larger problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what it is. Because NBA refs are freaking awful, and maybe you can argue the rules are awful, but it's like he's dribbling from the 3-point line to the middle. He's dribbling from the sideline to the middle of the 3-point line, and he's going head down, kind of leans into TJD a little bit, jerks his head up, falls backwards, shoots the ball with one hand from 20 feet away, and gets 2 free throws. Dude, there's just no. How do we legislate this out the game? Like, there's no way anybody pays hard-earned money in today's economy to watch that shit, and that's what we need out. And I don't know. I guess I could blame the refs. They're all. I don't think there are any good refs in the NBA. Maybe we can blame the NBA for these rules, but Embiid. Hey, shout out to Embiid. You know, he's the one that's taking advantage of it. And I guess to answer your question, sure, why not? You know what I mean? Those free throws look great if they're in a Warriors uniform. They look amazing if they were. But it'd be a terrible fit. I mean, it'd be an awful fit. The Warriors want to play fast. They want to shoot. They want to defend. Like Draymond's gonna lose his shit with Embiid next to him. Of course, I would do it. I'm desperate. There's 6, 17, and 16 with Steph having 1 or 2 or 3 years left. But it's a terrible fit. He's an awful watch. He's still a good player though.
I mean, he's a great player.
Is he hurt? Do you think he's hurt?
He's always hurt. He's always hurt. I honestly don't know why he played in the Olympics this summer. Like he doesn't.
Facts.
Yeah, like and I understand you want to win a gold medal, like that makes sense, but I feel like he's the type of guy where playing for that many consecutive months essentially can like really alter the path of his career. And it feels like it kind of might have, because there's a couple of years there where he was so dominant. Like, and the free throws are one thing, like it's really annoying to watch, but you also just couldn't stop him from scoring the basketball even without the free throws. You know what I mean? And like it kind of feels like that's not there anymore. So I mean, look, would I do it? Probably, but I wouldn't. I wouldn't be as happy about it as I should be if they traded for Embiid. You know,
like
that would be my main takeaway from it. Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those things where it's like you wouldn't want to do it, and you wouldn't be as happy as you would be a couple years ago, but you wouldn't have been able to done that. You wouldn't be able to do that trade a couple years ago, right? Like the only reason why you're getting this lemon here is because like he's not as good. But again, it's like the Warriors are as desperate as any team. Like it's just like, end of the day, it's not like they're chilling and kind of gets to the side. I saw Mike Dunleavy on TV today. You know, I didn't see a phone. I didn't see AirPods. I don't know why he's not on the phone with Pat Riley. I don't know. I don't know.
He was just kind of laughing and joking around.
I don't know what's so funny. All right, I know we got some other stuff.
Yeah. Do BodySpec. Do BodySpec.
Yours podcast. We're brought to you by BodySpec. Shout out to my guy. Happy belated birthday, Aaron Lau. The new year is here, and with it comes the perfect opportunity to build a strong foundation for your fitness journey. If you're ready to hit 2025 with a plan that's backed by real data, BodySpec is here to help. Starting strong means knowing where you stand. That's why a DEXA scan at BodySpec is the smartest way to kick off your
New Year's resolution with a DEXA scan, you get an accurate, detailed look at your body composition, lean muscle, fat, and bone density. So you can set clear goals and track your progress. Right now, we've got the best deal you'll find online. Only $45 with the promo code LightYears45. That's right, just $45 to get a complete science-backed snapshot of your health and fitness, all at a touch of a button. It also takes like 10 minutes. I walked in. Shout out to my guy at the front desk. Walked me in, got set, laid down on the machine, and the lady got me out, in and out, 10 minutes. Where did I get it done? I got it done in San Jose. Last year, you probably tried sticking to a workout routine, even tried signing up for a healthy meal delivery service, but did you ever stop to ask what's really going on with my body? Without a DEXA scan, you didn't have the full picture. Don't have to waste another year guessing how your efforts are paying off. Don't just make a resolution, make a plan, start 2025 with the confidence of knowing exactly where you are. Locations, they got them in the Bay Area, LA, Texas, Seattle. They got mobile vans as well. Book your first DEXA scan with BodySpec today. BodySpec.com. Use code LightYears45. Take the first step toward your best year yet.
All right. So I think the last thing I want to jump into tonight is there's been maybe some minor rumblings about one Mr. Kevin Durant being unhappy in Phoenix, potentially looking to get out. And there's nothing substantiated here. I don't think there's anything that's like massively substantial, but Katie probably has a little bit of a wandering eye. And there's a couple, what's new? There's a couple of different directions we can go with this, but I have been, I think, somewhat staunchly against bringing Katie back to the Bay, because I think I'm very scarred by how it all ended, like how miserable that last year and a half was. And I think people tend to forget that, like how miserable the team was in general. And that, it's kind of the ebb and flow of a dynasty. But I think now I'm just like, yeah, if you can do it, bring them home. Screw it. Why not? But at the same time, Phoenix is very difficult to get a trade done with because of where their salary number is at. Like it'd be hard for them to even trade for Jimmy. It'd be hard for us to get it, for the Warriors to get a deal done with the Suns because of the way the new CBA is structured, and then giving up so many picks. You know what I mean? Like they're going to really have to eat it in a trade. And, that unfortunately, that probably gives the Warriors another excuse to not make a trade. Like, oh, the CBA, we don't really know how it's going to function. We can't trade well these picks, yada, yada, yada. Just more and more excuses. But if KD did request a trade, I think you're going to go in the same direction. But how would you feel about that in general if he wanted to come back to the Warriors?
KD's actually the best option because obvious reasons. He's the best player amongst all the guys that they can get. He's better than Jimmy Butler. He's better than Paul George. He knows how to play in the Warriors system. Like he fit right in. Yeah. We know that he's played with the Warriors before. Obviously, like there are question marks. Like if Paul George was here, like it might take him. Like we watched Dennis Schröder. Like it's taken him a couple games, more than a couple games, to get kind of in the system and go. And now he seems more comfortable. Jimmy Butler, I'd imagine, even harder. Right? Like he's not. Like he's not that type of player that automatically fit in the system. KD, like he will fit in the system. Now the question is, is he still boys with Draymond? I think him and Steph, obviously they're fine, but KD and Steve Kerr had their fights like before. As things were going to shit, like KD wanted to run a more isolation heavy offense in the postseason. Steve wanted to keep his motion. I think KD was right. I think KD was right, and I think that was part of, like, it's not why he left, but I think that was, reasoning. And we still have those issues today with Kuminga and Steve Kerr, again, not going anywhere. So those are question marks. But again, if that's something that's on the table, it's going to be done. I just think it's hilarious that how should I put this? I think it's hilarious that Kevin Durant, while deserved to be put in the conversation as like one of the greatest players of all time, cannot seem to win anything of significance without being on Steph Curry's team. So it'd be really funny to me if after leaving the Warriors and going to play in Brooklyn and then the Phoenix Suns. Did he go anywhere else? Felt like he was in
No.
another
It was-
3 or 4 teams between
It
those
was
guys.
Brooklyn
Yeah.
straight. It was Brooklyn straight to Phoenix.
Yeah,
but
never ends with him. But
Yeah.
it's like it's funny that he's gonna end up with the Warriors. Just it's like the Thanos meme, you know. It's just where do you end up? You know, back to me. And again, like it's not gonna be like I don't even know how good the team would be, but yeah, of course, man, that's the best. It's the best move for everything you hear. He is like unhappy in Phoenix, but that's KD in every situation. It's like
Right.
he was unhappy in Phoenix. Yeah, so he was unhappy in Brooklyn. He was unhappy in Golden State. He was unhappy in Oklahoma City. Like that's like it's just you know how he is. You know how he is. But he would be. The last time Steph and KD teamed up, other teams didn't have a chance. You know, maybe this time Steph and KD team up. You know, it'll be more fun to watch them like struggle to win against other teams. Right? Maybe that's what people want. They want those guys to struggle to win, not win every series 4-1. I don't know, but be cool.
I mean, I think obviously the first time it happened, people were basically saying you need to cancel the league. This is so unfair. But I mean, if the opportunity pops up, I think it's obviously something you have to pursue. And I think the biggest, and I mean, I think the biggest thing is like Lacob would do it immediately because it's a chance for him again to like put his stamp on everything that's happening. And honestly, like at that point, you trade for KD and then somehow figure out how to get LeBron in the offseason and you just make an expendables run. Get them all together. Just make it like the Olympics.
I've been pining for that. I've been pining for that for just forever. I wanted LeBron on the team last trade deadline. I don't care whether it works or not. I was talking like I was pissing Sam off the other day, and like to me, if I'm gonna watch this team struggle 16-16, just go ahead and give Clay whatever contract that he wanted, you know, last offseason or 2 off seasons ago. Just give him $30 million a year and just go down with the ship. At least I get to watch those 3 guys win 41 games because, you know, this team is on track to win 41 games. and I don't want to fucking watch Buddy Hield anymore. It's like I'd rather watch Clay clank than Buddy Hield, right? If you're gonna both, what's the difference? What the hell is the difference? And so to me, that this version of like, yeah, I trade for LeBron. Are you gonna win? You know, probably not. But cool, that's so cool. I might go to a game. I haven't gone outside in 2 months. I might go to Chase Center to catch that. You know what I mean? Like, imagine the amount of money, and I'm sure Joe Lacob, you know, do that in a second. He would do that in a second. Yeah, Lacob wouldn't care about wins because who would? Who cares? You got Steph and LeBron. Like, I mean,
I think the biggest thing, and we actually talked about this on the pod with Jason a couple days ago. Watching Steph and KD and LeBron play together this past summer was like one of the coolest basketball moments, like viewing moments of my entire life. And if there was like an opportunity to watch that, no matter in what setting, I think you have to do it. Like you can't even question it. You can't even question it. But unless you got anything else to get to, I think that's probably all for tonight.
Warriors are back.
We're back. We're back, baby. 1 win and we're all the way back. So appreciate everybody tuning in. We will see you guys next time.